My name is Katie. I'm on the product marketing team. So I work closely with our customers to get your feedback on the product and features, understand how you're using them, and then also share that information closely with our product and our engineering teams to make sure that we're building the right products for our customers. So I'm sure I've spoken with some of you before. We've also been doing a lot here on the webinar front. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time for our webinar, we do have a lot of feature deep dives such as this one. So I can share a link to those as well, where you can sign up for future ones and then also watch recorded ones. And then I'm here with Keith, who's also on the product marketing team and is one of the creators of our Takeoffs feature. So you're in very good hands today. He'll give you a full demo. Just a few little housekeeping tabs. There's a chat, as you see, so feel free to add questions into there. And then there's also a Q&A tab. So we'll do our best to cover the questions live. Either Keith will answer them or we'll just answer them in the chat as we go through. And you will be getting this recording afterwards. We'll be sending it out. So with that, Keith, I'll hand it over to you.
Brilliant. Thanks a million, Katie. Yeah, as Katie said, my name is Keith. So I'm also part of the product marketing team. I am a carpenter and builder by trade. And as Katie said, so I've been involved in building this takeoff tool right from the ground up to where it is now. So yeah, I'm going to take you through the product today, some great updates. We have the assemblies feature and just a quick look at what we're going to run through. So just to kick things off, uploading your PDF plans into the Takeoff software. I'll give you a look around the page navigation, just kind of where everything is. A look at some of the tools across the top. Now we'll jump in, we'll do a couple of measurements. And then what I'm excited to show you is just how you kind of set up assemblies and then how you can also use them in Takeoffs. And then after we've had a look at how you use them in Takeoffs, we'll convert it over to an estimate just to show you how you see that in an estimate. So we have lots to cover. As Katie said, be sure and ask plenty of questions along the way. I'm going to show you how you can kind of help yourself as well, ask questions, kind of our system can give you answers. So yeah, without further ado, we'll jump in and get started. I have a little bit of a head cold today, so bear with me on my if my voice is a tiny bit muffled. So look, so here we are kind of on your project overview page. You'll see all the features here in the left rail. So what the first thing we'll do is we'll navigate to the Takeoffs feature. I already have some plans uploaded, but the first thing that you'll want to do is to upload a set of plans. So you click up here on the top right. So upload plans. You'll see here you can upload from your computer, Google Drive, whatever it is, and then you just click create it and continue. So I already have them loaded in, so I'll jump straight in over here. Okay, so we are into the Takeoffs page. So just to give you a quick look around. So once you are in here, there is also ways that you can upload plans directly from in here. So you can see here we have a little upload button, which is going to allow you to upload plans from here. We're not going to do it right now. And up here in the top, you'll see, so this is what we call the breadcrumb. So that will take you back to, this is your plans that we're looking at now. This will take you back to the Takeoffs feature, and this will take you back to the project overview page. So it's just some quick navigation tools there that can help you. And if you have maybe two sets of plans uploaded, say you had the architectural and engineering for this set of plans, so you can navigate between them here. So I have two sets of plans here. You can see, so I will just stick on these ones for now. We'll get rid of that. Yeah, and then as I said, so it's really easy to help yourself in Houzz Pro. We make it as easy as possible to find information. We have a team that is constantly putting out content about updated features. So if you navigate to here in the bottom left of the question mark, you'll see we have a help center here, and we've got loads of other resources like Houzz Pro training, certification. My favorite way to get answers is to use this chat bubble on the bottom right. So if I type something in here, it will go searching the help content for me. So I can say takeoff measurements in here and just press enter, and you'll see here it kind of pulls up all of the any takeoff article, and you can ask more specific questions and we'll find them for you. Just a quick look at this is the help center as well. So if you want to go through and browse yourself and just do some learning, this is the Takeoff section where we have many articles about everything Takeoff related, plus lots of video tutorials. They're all there ready for you. All right, so we'll jump back in to the Takeoffs page where I'll just show you kind of navigate around the page. So up here in the top left, these are the pages that are in this set of plans. So that is them. We have here a pinning feature, which is brilliant. When you have something like a lot of set of plans come with like 20 pages, you might only need 2 of the floor plans and 1 of the elevations to measure on. So you can pin that page. And what that will do is then it just shows you the pages that you've pinned. So it is just a way to speed up navigation, so you're not kind of flicking through loads of pages to find the one that you were on. We also have what they call an OCR search. So you can type in a keyword here and it will search through all the plans that you've uploaded to see if you can find that keyword. Shingles. So let's say I was measuring shingles. I just type it here. So I can see here that it's found 1 match on page 2 and 2 matches on page 3. If I click on this here, you see here it has it highlighted yellow, and same here. If I click on this next page, you see here it has shingles highlighted yellow. So that's not a really great feature if you're measuring specific materials. Next here we have these 3 dots. So there's a few just little options in here. You can rotate the page. Sometimes pages are rotated the wrong way around, so you can flick them. Renaming a page, I think this is really important. You know, they just come in numbered. A lot of time pages are just have 10005 or some weird numbers. You know, if you rename this page to being like ground floor plan, it just makes it easier for navigation down the future. And especially like a lot of the time you're doing a takeoff, it's 3 months or 4 months before a job is even done. So when you come back to it, it helps you kind of navigate quite easily back to where you need to be and kind of refresh your memory. Cloning a page, I'll get into that later. Sometimes it's great to clone a page if you're maybe doing a takeoff for multiple trades and you just want to keep the pages separated, and then delete is just delete. Okay, so just moving on, we are just going to talk about setting the scale. So this whole section down here in the bottom left. So it's critical, as you'll know, to have the scale set in order to get the correct measurement. And I purposely uploaded a set of plans today that the scale you'll see here is 1:1/4 inches to 1 foot, and I have it matched here. But sometimes when a system, like a set of plans, has gone through Dropbox or something like that, that the plans, the system will go out of whack, and you'll have to use something like the fine scale page. So what I recommend is you look at the scale on the page, you match it to what we have here. There's a drop down, and then you check a measurement. You click on here. So this is 22 foot 1 inch. So you can see here that that's 6 foot. So that's completely wrong. So I'm going to jump back in here. I'm going to press the fine scale button. So what that's going to ask me to do is to make a known measurement. So I'll make a measurement on top of that 22 foot measurement. So I'll hit fine scale. So I'll click here and I double click to finish. And I'm going to put in 22 foot and 1 inch, and I'm going to hit set scale. So then I will double check that. I'll go back to the length tool. We'll just go back over on top of this measurement, and you can see here that is now correct, the scale. So that means that we are ready to go on ahead and get measuring on this set of plans. And it's worth checking on each page. Just it only takes 2 seconds. Just make one measurement and just to make sure that it's covered. So look, just running through the tools. So across the top we have the rectangle tool. So that's, I'll just zoom in slightly here. So what that does is it's just a drag and a drop from one corner to the other. So that is going to give you a square foot measurement. The polygon So that is for a room that is not going to be symmetrical. So it's not just a simple drag and drop. We are going to click around here. The more time you take, of course, the closer you can be to the corners, it's going to be more accurate. I'm just kind of quickly going around things here. So that is the polygon tool. The length tool is just for doing a linear measurement. So if you were doing the laundry here for, say, tiles on the wall, we would click around. And we will get into kind of more specific measurements, but just kind of showing you how the tools work. So double click to finish, you can see the linear foot measurement there. The next tool over is the deduct tool. So we're going to click on that, and what that is going to do is allow us to deduct an area from an already measured area. So you can see there that is that's deducted an area from the living room for the kitchen island. The count is really quite simple. So we just select a count for doing something like doors, which is really great. So if you've a big set of plans, you have many different types of doors, you have sliding doors, internal doors, and it's good just to make sure that they are all accounted for. The annotate feature is going to allow you just to do any markups on the page, which is brilliant if you're sending these marked up plans to another subcontractor or a team member, just to say something like, we might throw in some text just to say, allow space for trim on this door. We can add an arrow, and we'll point to here, to this point. So that works well for any subcontractors. We have undo, and again, that's just a page rotate. So the undo will just take you back a few steps. The zoom in and zoom out is just down here in the middle, which is which is good. Once you generally get your zoom, you kind of don't use that too much. So I'll just stop there, Katie, if I can, and see if there are any questions.
Yeah, the only question is if you can use this with a 3D floor plan that you've created through Houzz Pro.
Yes, absolutely. So if you have created the 3D floor plan, so you can save that. It will save to your files, and then when you're uploading, when you're uploading from your project page, you will be able to select from your files and photos, and that will upload directly to the Takeoff software. And what you will definitely need to do is what I showed you for setting the scale. And so you will need to set the scale on that. So just make sure that when you save the 3D floor plan, that you save it with the measurements on it, and there is an option in there on the 3D floor plan to do that, and then you'll be able to calibrate the 3D floor plan with the Takeoff tool. Okay, well, we're going to jump in and just do a couple of kind of proper measurements. So if we were doing, say, hardwood flooring for the living area and the owner's bedroom, I don't want to do too extensive measurements, but we'll jump in and do that. So we can jump in here. We have flooring, and we have hardwood flooring. So we can add multiple measurements to the same group, and it will kind of auto-calculate them together, which works really well. And we double click to finish. So we have that measurement there, and then we kind of move on to the next area. We're going to have hardwood flooring. We'll go right into the walk-in wardrobe. So there you can see on the right-hand side, we have a drop down here where you can see the measurement for the hardwood flooring. So the next thing that I'd like to show you is maybe how to add like a depth to a measurement. So if you were, for instance, doing like a concrete slab for the whole house, or if you were doing linear strict footings, look, what we'll do first is a concrete slab for this garage. So we'll click on concrete. So we're going to click in one corner, we'll drag and drop. So again, we're just using either of the features that will get you an area, and from there, I'm going to show you how you can turn that into a cubic yards measurement. So in the middle here, we have this little cube, and what that does is like it allows you to add dimensions to any measurement that you've already made. So we'll go ahead and click that. You can see here, so the different dimensions you can add are height or width. I'll show you that in a second when we're adding, like if we measure with the length tool, we can add a height to get like an area for walls for things like tiles or wallpaper. The depth is when you already have an area measurement. You can add a depth to it, like 4 inches, for example, for a concrete slab. And then pitch is for a roof. So if you measure an area on the flat, you can say that the pitch is 4 in 12 or 3 in 12, whatever the specified pitch is. And then that will recalibrate the measurement to give you the area taking into account the pitch. So this one here, we're just going to put in 4 inches, and we're going to say done. And you'll see here, so you have the square foot measurement, and you also have the cubic yard measurement. So that's kind of how you would go about doing a concrete slab. If I was doing, say, strip footings, I have kind of 4 or 5 examples here that will kind of give you a good grasp of how everything works. But you take the length tool, and let's just say we're going to click here, concrete, strip foundations. So I'll just, not to do too many measurements and do it quickly, but we'll just click around here. And we double click to finish. Again, I just want to show you an example of how you go about doing this. So you click on this cube again in the middle that allows you to add a dimension. So what we are going to add is a width. So it is 1 foot and 6 inches wide for the strip foundation, and the depth is also going to be 1 foot. So there you end up with the cubic yards needed for a strip foundation for here. I'll stop there just to make sure that there's no questions on either of them. Katie, is it?
We do have a few questions.
Yeah.
So do you need to set up your assemblies and template before doing measurements?
You don't specifically, but I will show you kind of how to set up assemblies afterwards, and the assemblies are available in here. So you can come straight in here and do measurements. You can set up kind of favorites here, which allows you just, if you set up favorites in here, so I'll go back and just show you where that is. So just up here at the kind of manage favorites, if you click in there, you can set up things that will be available to you across all of your takeoffs. So it's kind of quite easy to add. So you just add new over here, a new category or group, and you'll see if I open something here, you can add in a cost, a color. So that's where I'm getting the measurements that you see me already making. But I will show you how to set up the assemblies. You don't have to have anything set up before you do get into takeoffs. You can come straight in here and just get started measuring.
Okay, great. And then a question on how to measure the area for a tile wall.
Yep. I will do that one now. I was gonna show drywall, but I'll do tiles. It's kind of the same thing. So
Okay.
what we're gonna do here is grab the length tool for this exact specific example. I'm going to go a new group just to show you how to do it. So the group is going to be laundry tile, and we're going to put it into finishes, and we're going to give it a nice color, and this will allow you to add it to your favorites. So if you want to have that saved in your favorites for, say, a next project that you might be doing, you can check that. So I will check that. And it asks you for a unit of measurement, so we are going to have square foot for tiles on the wall. So here's what we do. We just click around the walls. We're going to go, I'm going to stop there, not do the door, and we're going to start again. Around here, I'm going to stop there, and So we have up here on your right hand side the laundry tile, which is a linear foot measurement. So what we're going to do is jump in there and add a height to that. So we're going to say it's 8'6", and then that will give you a square foot measurement for the tiles for that room. I hope that helps. So that's a similar kind of way for drywall as well. Something that's really good for drywall, if you can kind of split it up into internal walls and external walls, or even trades like painting. I'll just jump in here and show you. But we have what we call as a multiplier. So if you do all the internal drywall walls, you can make this multiplier 2, which means it does the front and back of the wall, so you don't have to double do measurements. And yeah, one other thing as well that we can do is add pitch. So I'll just show you that one quickly as my kind of last measurement. But if yeah, new group again, we'll go roof category. And this color. So if we were just doing a roof on this area, for example, just for ease of doing it, we'll jump in here and we'll add a dimension. So what we're able to do is add the pitch. So the way the pitch is normally given on the engineering plans is a number denoted against 12. So the pitch for this house is 3 and 12. And the more you go up, the more giving it a pitch or a slope is going to affect the square footage. So you can see here it's 610 square foot on a flat, and then once you add that pitch, it actually changes it. So it changes it considerably. So if you're ordering plywood or OSB or shingles for the roof, you just need to make sure that you order enough of everything. Yeah, so that's really most of what we have in terms of creating measurements. So it's just kind of a look at all the tools. The really last one is count, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You can just select a count and do count whatever it is. Maybe it's laundry basins, doors, baths, outlets. You know, they're all critical things. Downlights. Yeah, it's important to have everything counted and quantified. A really great tool here is this little eye up on the top right. Hopefully you can see there my mouse on it. So you can hide measurements, and that works really well when you're trying to measure multiple trades on the same plan. So there is 2 ways you can really go about this. You can measure everything on the one plan and use this hide feature. So you see the roofing appears or disappears there. Or we can jump over here, as I was mentioning, and we can clone the page. So that's just going to give you a fresh page, which is a copy of this plan, which you can go ahead and rename. You might rename it carpentry takeoff or roofing takeoff or electrical takeoff. And then you've got a specific page that you can share out with the subcontractors that are coming in to do the work. So yeah, that's a couple of ways you can go about it. So we'll jump over to assemblies. So just showing you how you get to assemblies. So if you hover over company here in the left navigation, you'll see you have assemblies. I have it opened already here. So I'm just going to jump in and take a look at a couple that I've already made and kind of talk you through them. So a big one that we always get from builders is framing. You know, how do we measure framing, or how do we use the Takeoff tool to measure framing? And this is the perfect way to do it. The kind of world is your oyster here about what you can set up in terms of assembly, like bricklaying, roofing, electrical, drywall, framing, literally anything. But I'll jump in and show you how we do that here. So the first thing it's going to ask you is to name your assembly. So I've named this 10-foot high framing with 16-inch centers. and then we put it in the framing category. You can put a description here, some pictures. But what's critical to do when you're setting this up is what it's going to be denoted against. So I have this framing set up against linear feet. So when I go back to the takeoffs, I can measure around the walls with the length tool in linear measurements, and that's going to multiply. Once I have that measurement, let's call it 750 linear feet, it's going to multiply everything else that I've put in here that goes along with framing. So studs. So because these are the components you can add to each assembly. So I have added studs here. So because we have set this up as 16-inch centers, it's not 12-inch, which is 1 foot. We only need 0.75 of one stud per foot. So if this was 12-inch centers, we would need 1 full one. Top and bottom plate per linear foot, I'm going to need 2. So that's 65 cents per foot. It's going to cost $1.10. A row of blocks. So we're going to need 1 row of blocks for this wall. So again, we're going to add in the cost here and then the brace. So what you can do as well, if you work out your labor back to per linear foot, if you have that cost, you can add that in here as well. So what we've come to here is that it's going to cost me and my company $8.38 per linear foot of framing for materials. So I'll just jump back out here and show you one more, which is a door. So again, name it door. I've put it in the category. What I'm doing here, because a door is a door, it's 1 unit, it's a piece. I'm going to put all the costs back to 1 piece. So here I have a 30-inch by 80-inch door. So I have 1 piece is $38. I have 2 hinges, which is going to cost $4.80. Standard handle set, architrave, which we call trim. And then you can see here that we have labor. So it's going to take 1 hour at $30 per hour. So the total cost for supply and install for this 30 by 80-inch interior 6-panel door is going to cost me $124.60. So again, once I have counted all the doors, these doors in my takeoff, these can be flipped into an estimate. Any questions on the kind of setup of assemblies, Katie?
No questions. Feel free to add in anything. We're happy to cover it here.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, look, I'll jump back over here and just kind of show you how it all flows through together, which is great. And it's, you know, the forte of Houzz Pro. It all flows together. So just back to the framing takeoff. So we grab the length tool. We are going to click down here at the drop down. You'll see you have this takeoff, or we have assemblies. So this is my whole catalog of assemblies. You saw, and you had a couple there, but in framing, I have this one. So this is what I'm selecting to use. I won't go around and measure too much just for the sake of time, but let's just say these walls were all this framing and this and this, this. And this, so we have 93 linear feet of framing, and just to show you how doors work as well when we flip it into an estimate. So we click on the count tool. Again, we hit the drop down, we go to assemblies, and we are going to go to finishes, and we're going to pick the door. So we have 1 here, 2 here. I'll just click a few just so we can see how the costs translate. Brilliant. And now the next step that we're going to do to take this into estimates is up here on the right hand side. We're going to click review and estimate. Another button that you have here is save to file. So if you click on this, it's going to save this takeoff to files and photos. So we'll click that as well. Review and estimate. So this is, before you get to the estimate, it's going to give you a summary of all the measurements you've made. So sometimes you might see you've left something out here, or you want to jump back in and do it. You can download all this information to an Excel file, which is really handy, and some people like to do that for doing material quantities or sending out orders. But we're going to continue here and do an estimate. So it's going to give you two options here. It gives you new or a duplicate and edit. And the duplicate and edit works amazingly for if you've already done the estimate, or you've done the takeoff, you've done the estimate, and you've sent it to the client and something changes. They say, oh, actually, I want to change this or add this in or take something back. You can come back to takeoffs, make your changes, and you can press duplicate and edit. And rather than having to do a whole estimate again, it's just going to make those changes and carry everything that's already on the estimate over. So that's a great time saver, because we know there is often forward and back in the estimating process. Okay, so just to show you how the how the assemblies transfer through into the estimate. So you can see it here that we have one door, so 30-inch by 80-inch 6-panel door. We have a summary line here. So this I means that it'll only be visible to you. It won't be visible to the client. So all these things are just for your own knowledge. But yeah, a door is 6 pieces. This is the total cost. That's going to be the cost for your 6 doors. And then the same thing with the framing. So you see, you have it here with the framing. You have the description, your studs. So we measured in the takeoffs that we had 93.14 linear feet. We had set up in our assembly that it's $8.38 per linear foot for framing. And then you can see here how it multiplies out in the estimate. Yeah, so again, really the more you can set up in your assemblies and your takeoffs and kind of automate this whole estimating process, the more time you save down the track, and project after project, it just gets better and better. Is there any questions or comments there, Katie?
Yes, we do have a few questions on assemblies.
Yes, great.
Should painting the door be in the door assembly?
Yeah, again, it's just down to how your business is set up. I don't know, maybe the painting subcontractor, he gives you might get in a painting subcontractor and just have an allowance for the painter to come in. In that case, you wouldn't. If you maybe had an employee on the books, or somebody in your own team did the painting, definitely you can add in painting to your assembly. But yeah, it's just down to how you have your company set up.
Okay, great. Question from Robert here. Would you create a separate assembly for your interior walls?
Yeah, I definitely would. I think the interior walls, they might have a different insulation in them. They might have, there might be a slightly different height. Maybe it's a different thickness of lumber. Yeah, again, it's just down to the specifications of the house.
Okay, great. And then one more question from Christopher. Can framing calculate things like corners, jacks, cripples, etc.?
It's really down to kind of your calculation on what you put in. So you might add, here, I'll jump back over to assemblies. So we have it, I'll jump over here. We have it set up on this one here that on average, it's framing is actually a really tricky one, and we have there is an article in the help center just about framing, and it's not an exact science, because we do know that every house is engineered differently. There might be 3 studs in the corner. There might be more jack studs around windows. So it's not a perfect science. But for an estimating standpoint, to be able to work out like just a kind of over a long run or like a whole house that you would need, 0.75 pieces per 16 inches of studs. You might shrink that down a bit if there's a lot of corners, a lot of windows, a lot of support for beams or whatever. Framing takeoff is not an exact science unless you're on site counting every single piece, unfortunately. So yeah, it's really just about your own, what you put into the system and what you get back. I hope that answers your question. I know we all want a perfect system, but unfortunately there isn't one.
Okay, let me just take a look. I think that covered questions for now. We can do one more final check before we wrap up.
Yeah, that's really kind of us coming to the end of the takeoff. So we kind of ran through. Yeah, we've run through everything we have. So if there's no more questions, as well, like, just to let you know that we, like, as the PMM team, Katie said that, we like to hear from customers. It's how we do build features. We build what's next. If there's a way that you can see Takeoffs could integrate better into your company's processes, like, we love to hear it. On the PMM specifically on Takeoffs. So when we share out this report or share out this recording, I'll share my email, and I'd love to hear from any of you and catch up and kind of run you through it. And that would be awesome.
Feel free to reach out to our team with any other questions.
Brilliant. And don't be shy about using our live chat service as well. We have product support specialists in there. They're always willing to help.
So thank you very much, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.